Hi, this is the Kosher Cowboy, and welcome back to another episode of Kosher Camping. I received a few requests to actually make the kosher gas station mac and cheese. So I'm back here at the gas station, and I'm grabbing my supplies. So I'm gonna get the elbow macaroni that has an OU on it right there. I'm going to get some butter. That's going to help make this very creamy and delicious. That is also OU. And finally, I'm going to use these chips as a cheddar powder to really get that cheddary flavor rather than just having the cream from the butter. And as you can see, these are also OU. So this backpacking lunch will be brought to you by the Orthodox Union. I'm also going to add some tuna. This is going to give me a lot more protein, and personally I really like tuna, so it's going to give me a little flavor. And as you can see, this is also certified by the Orthodox Union. So before I get going, I'm going to give my chips one last good crush. I've already got it started a little bit, but with the weight of my car, it's going to get that nice fine powder that I'm going for. Alright folks, so now I'm at the site that I'm going to cook my meal at. Let's go ahead and get started. So I brought my gas stove as a backup, but what I really want to try out today was I just got this brand new wood burning stove, which I am very excited to try out. I think they're very cool, and even though it's still a little wet out here, the ground's saturated from the thaw, I'm still really interested to see how this works, and I think I've collected enough dry fuel to make it work very well. So I've cleared out this little area here, and you can see it comes in a, comes like that, and then it collapses out this way. Oh yeah, I'll figure this thing out eventually. Boom. So there it is. You see it has this nice feeding hole here, and it's got these air holes here, and it's got holes on the bottom. So what it does is primarily it sucks air through these holes and then up through the bottom and creates a nice vortex of heat. Let me see if I can adjust the camera so you all can see just a little bit better. So now I got my grill started. I'm going to slowly add some more fuel in there. And yeah, that's working really nicely. Just goes right up. It's a little wet, so I'm gonna let this bigger stuff take a second to catch. And once there's a nice bed of coals, it'll burn just about anything, no matter how wet it is. And it'll be perfect for cooking. Beautiful. So now that I got a nice fire going on my cook stove, I'm gonna go ahead and fill up some water. So I'm gonna come down here to the reservoir and you know, just fill up. That should be about good. Now, whenever you use water that's not sterilized, you always want to make sure you get it to a nice rolling boil and let it sit for a few minutes at that rolling boil before you cook anything, just to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself or anyone else that you're cooking for. So my fire's died down a little bit, but as you can see, there's a nice bed of ashes, so I'm just gonna put a few more small sticks in there, help get it going before I put my water on. You can see, and because of the airflow, it doesn't take a lot to start to get this going again. I barely have to blow on it. In fact, I haven't blown on it at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my pot of water on. Ground is very soft and keeps wanting to pull it, so I'm just gonna see if I can fit a few sticks under there. Help me out. So as you can see, now I've got the stove packed full of wood, and my water is starting to get some bubbles on the bottom, so it should be boiling shortly. Alright, so if you look in there, it's nice packed full. And in here, we got a nice boil. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second while I prep my ingredients, and then we'll start cooking. Alright, so now I'm gonna get started cooking my macaroni. Now, stability is a big issue on this stove, so I'm gonna set you guys down. And I'm actually gonna use 2 hands to make sure that nothing gets knocked over here. I said I was going to use about half a box, do a little extra for good measure. Alright, so that will get started my macaroni. I'm going to cover it back up to bring it back up to a boil. Get some of the extra seasoning out. And we'll be back in a second. So all in all, I'd say this took about, 8 to 10 minutes to come to a boil, which is very good. And now you can see it's about to boil over, so I'm gonna pull the top off, just let it bubble. And yeah, that looks like macaroni. And that looks like a very cool stove with a very hot fire. Starting to look real good. It's a little hot, so I want to make sure I'm stirring it so it's not getting burnt on the bottom. That was almost done. Very good. I'm gonna let that sit for just about another 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and I'd say that'd be finished. So now that my mac and cheese is done cooking, I'm gonna bring it up here away from the water a little bit so I can drain it out. If I was gonna be in bear country, I would never pour anything that has cooked food or anything on the ground, to make sure that this doesn't become a problem spot for bears, but there are no bears here, so I feel a lot more comfortable just dumping this on the ground. I'm still going to spread it out a little, not dump it all in one spot. So now that I got my mac and cheese, let me show it to you, or my macaroni. I have a little bit of liquid left in there. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to leave it here right next to the fire. I'm not going to put it directly on, it has plenty of heat in it. Start with my butter. I'm going to make sure the butter gets nice and melted, and I'm going to slowly start to add the additional cheese flavor from the chips. So I toss my butter in there, now I'm going to mix it up. You can see we got a little bit of coals left. I'm just gonna give this a quick mix. Get that butter in there. I'm gonna put it back on, help melt it a little bit. And like I said, I'm a little worried about the stability of this stove, but just to get it nice and melted, I'm gonna stir nice and slow. See, there it is, almost tipped it over. So I know what you're thinking. A lot of you probably think a stick of butter is a lot, but especially when you're hiking and you need those calories, it'll be good. Plus you're gonna need, you know, butter to substitute for milk, and the other ingredients that help you make a delicious mac and cheese. So I'm gonna cover this, let the butter melt a little bit, and then we'll add the powder. So yeah, now all the butter is melted and this looks really good and really creamy. Let's add the cheddar flavoring from the chips. When I was crushing the chips, you have to cut a little hole to help you get the air out, because if you do that, then you're just going to be moving air around in the bag and you're not going to get a good crush. So I cut this little hole, takes the air out of the bag, allows me to crush the bag a lot more. But also now I'm going to use this hole. I'm just going to open it up a little bit, and I'm just going to pour it right through that small hole. And then what that'll do is help filter out the bigger pieces that are still in this bag. Because it's not as totally ground as I would like to have get it. I mean, I feel like I could have gotten a lot more if I had like a stone grinder, obviously, or something like that. But just using my hand and a quick roll over the car, this is as good as I'm going to get it. So as you can see, it's really not fine ground. It's more of these, you know, chunks. So we're going to try to mix it up and hope that it mixes in with the butter real nice. And hopefully that cheese just melts together. And if not, it'll be like the mac and cheese has a crust. So that'll be delicious as well. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, finally, I did cheat a little bit. And instead of buying the tuna from the store, I went ahead and got this tuna, which I already had purchased, but as you can see, it is still OU certified, so not going to change our sponsorship for the meal. This sriracha flavor is going to add the heat that I'm missing out on. Normally I like to carry some hot sauce or some cayenne pepper, some red pepper, something spicy. Yeah, there it is. This will give me that spice that I really like. Alright, I'm gonna mix this up. I mean, the mac and cheese looks like good mac and cheese. It's not going to be wacky mac, I can tell you that, but it'll be good. Alright, let's give it a try. And all that's left from the fire in the stove is these coals, but as you can see, they're still super hot. If I wanted to get this fire going again and boil something else, I could easily do that. It would not take very long. I could just throw a few sticks in there, and it would be roaring once again. Alright, so here I have my gas station mac and cheese. It's looking very good. It's very warm. I already said a bracha, so let's dig in. That is really good. That is really good. You get a little bit of cheddar flavor, just enough to make it that quintessential mac and cheese flavor. This has been another episode of Kosher Camping. If you liked, please subscribe and like the video below. In the coming weeks, it'll be Passover, and so I think I'm going to try to make some kosher for Passover backpacking meals. Passover is a time to, you know, get away from work and go on vacation, and myself and a lot of my friends would love to get out in the backcountry, but backcountry food is so limited already being kosher, and it's even more limited when you're kosher for Passover. So I'm going to see what I can get and put together a kosher for Passover meal plan. I'm still eating this mac and cheese, though. It's so good. Mmm. Mmm. So good. So good. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.